Yo, whenever I hear my brother, like I go on his feed and shit, and I just listen to what he's talking about, or wherever he calls me, you know, I always go into this yo gang 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 yo money gang. You already know big money mindset type shit, and I hear this motherfucker scream, and the first thing he usually tells me is like, "Yo, I just invested such and such in this thing." I'm like, I just like I smile inside. I just went on his feed right now. He's over here talking about because he does construction. It's cold as fuck out here, right? He's always outside. And he's talking about like, yeah, I already see what I'm getting done right now, cause all the money that I'm getting paid here, I'm investing it into crypto, into stock, into this, and that, so that in a few years we ain't dealing with this shit. We ain't on our knees vacuuming and breaking things and shoveling rocks and making holes. And I'm like, yo, see, I can't help but smile and feel good inside. Not just for this one, you know, the one that follows me. He just turned 29 on the 1st of January, right? But my other little brother as well, right? My little brother about to be, what, 27 this year. I'll be 32. I smile because, you know, this one that follows me, like, you know, by 3 years, a few years back, you know, before I started like planting seeds in his mind, right? All he would talk about was like, yo, I'm about to put this music in my car. I'm about to get these rims. I'm about to get this and that. You know what I'm saying? He was still in that mindset of impressing others. And, you know, once I stopped trying to, you know, change people and I just started focusing on myself and I started doing my fighting and this and that, I just kind of let the seeds start germinating, right? And I had to do that with him because he's the kind of individual that you don't want to tell him something more than once. You'll want to fight instantly. He'll get upset. You'll you know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of those individuals that he's just ready to blow up on anyone and everyone. It don't matter if it's a kid or an old person. He's just ready to blow up, right? So I had to learn patience with him. I had to learn how to communicate with individuals like him through him. So I would just plant the seeds and then go and I'd always just go and do my thing. Like, you know, I talk about fighting, I go and do the fighting. Eventually he went and he did his own fight, right? He got a sanctioned fight. I would talk about investment, then I would go do my investment, then I would talk to him about what I'm doing. Next thing you know, he's spending days on his phone. Eventually I got it into my head. I was like, yo, give me your credit card. I'm about to order you a tablet, a computer, so that you don't have to be on your phone. You can actually have something to work with. It was dope. He didn't argue. He was like, oh shit. I'd soup him up too. You know, I soup him up. I encourage him. I give him the whole shebang. But it's dope, right? Because as they say, don't try to change the world. The world is too big for one individual to change. Just change yourself. If you start with yourself, you know what I'm saying? Your environment will begin to change. The things that you eat, the places that you go to, the things that you invest money into, all those things will begin to change, right? So, but too often we focus on trying to change the world, you know, and on trying to change others. You can't do that. You got to change yourself. Once you begin to change yourself, that's when everything else around you will begin to change. It's like Saturn, man. It's like Saturn in his ring. Saturn doesn't try to draw anything into his atmosphere, but everything that flows by it, you know, becomes part of it. And that's just how life is with us as well. You know, whatever it is that we're entertaining, the places that we're going, those are the things that we are giving our energy to, right? If you don't want to see any more suffering in the world, then, you know, the best thing to do is to stop investing money, energy, attention, and focus and your presence into things that do bring suffering in the world, right? I wanted to change the world so bad that I was dealing with depression and stressors that were unnecessary. But then I had this one moment in my life, you know, December 28th, 2016, where it was like, fam, you can't change the world. So if you want to change the world so bad and you can't and you feel bad about it, kill yourself. And then, you know, that thought sparked up the thought like, no, I'm not going to kill myself. Then I have to learn everything that I've learned up until now all over again. So I might as well just start changing myself. And that's what I did. You know, I started eating one main meal a day. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that that's all I ate, but I started eating one main meal a day. I got on my fitness. I started, you know, doing martial arts. I started journaling. I started gratitude every morning before waking up. I started visualizing. I started being more concerned with my spending and my financial literacy. And you know, the moment that I started doing these things, I started acquiring knowledge, understanding, that I can then also reciprocate in others without having to push it upon them, but just by simply being a walking example of it. You know, my brother weighed about 230 pounds, and after one early morning of you know, socializing with me, like at 3 in the morning before my fourth fight, he went on to lose, you know, within a year of that, 70 pounds. But the change didn't start until 9 months after we had that moment, right? The change didn't start right away, you know. It started literally 7 to 9 months after the fact that we had that meeting that early morning, right? And from then on out, he started eating one meal a day. You know, he turned his work as a garbage man into a workout. So now he didn't have to stress about not working out every day. I put a different way of thinking, or you know, I shared a different way of thinking, of perceiving reality, so that his reality could become more fluid and less, you know, rigid and stressful. I tried doing the same thing with my younger brother, but it took a little bit more time with him, right? Why? The little kid has always been a little smart, right? So sometimes you can be a little smart for your own good. And that's a problem with a lot of individuals in this society, right? They think that because they're straight A students, they kind of know better or understand things better than individuals that are C, you know, B, C, D, or F's. I got left back twice in grammar school. I kind of sort of got left back like 2 more times in high school. So, you know, I wasn't the smartest student when it came to schooling, but when it came to life, I kind of always had this guidance that I was always able to follow, right? Don't do that, that's wrong. Don't do that either. Do this. You know what I'm saying? If you keep doing that, this is where you're going to be such and such years from now. We all have access to that way of being, to the information, to the wisdom that is always guiding us in the right direction. Many of us just choose to not follow it. You know, too many of us just pick the easier option, which is to judge others and to, in our arrogance and our egotism and our pride, assume that we are always right, that what just happened to that individual because that individual wasn't right isn't going to happen to us, because too many of us often fall into the, you know, into the thinking that we are special, that we are better than somebody else, that we are luckier than other people, then, you know, thinking that what happened to that person can't possibly happen to me. I'm such a good person. Too many of us fall prey to ourselves. This is why, you know, many people find it easier to control other people than to control themselves, because it is easier. It is actually easier to control a city, to control the world, than it is to control those aspects of yourselves that trick you into believing that you are such a high and mighty individual, that you are so self-righteous, that you absolutely have the right to choose what other people get to do or not to do. You know what I'm saying? Because we lack that capacity to control ourselves. We lack self-mastery. It all starts with self. You can't change the world, and trying to change the world without first changing ourselves is just gonna make the world a worse place than what it already is. And it is in this state because of the people
people that live in it, the majority of us, we refuse to change ourselves before we try to change the world. And the people at the top that, because they have the power, the wealth, and the influence to mold the exterior reality to their liking, you know, fail to mold themselves to a way that actually allows them to flow into alignment with the universe and to try to control everything. But that's what happens when you don't control what's going on inside of you. It spills out into the world, and it makes the world what we see today. You know, we live in societies where individual think that hard work and slaving, selling away their time is going to make them wealthy, not understanding that wealth, that richness, that great things are states of human consciousness, states of awareness. Like I was saying, Jim Rohn says something that is profound to those that understand it. You know, richer is the man in time that has patience. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have an individual that's financially rich, and you may also have an individual that is physically impoverished. Yet, the man that is rich in patience is richer than that one that isn't. Why? Because the man that can afford to wait has time on his side. Now, you can be an individual that's financially rich, yet are impatient. And you can be an individual that's poor as fuck, yet you have patience. And in the long run, the one with patience, whether rich or poor, is always going to live a happier, less, you know, stress-free life, because that individual isn't ever running short on time. Now, you look at the world, everybody is impatient. They all, young and old, moving through life like as if they're short on time, as if they don't have time to learn, as they don't have time to meditate, time to eat right, time to exercise, time to just sit in silence and be to themselves. Everybody is running short on time. We're living in this rush society where everybody is busy, but doing nothing. Spending their whole time working, and at the end of their life, they have nothing to show for it. Why? Because wealth, riches are states of consciousness. You cannot have what you don't consciously embody. And even if you were to be given $1 million, that wouldn't make you a millionaire. That would just mean that you have $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Because a rich life starts in the mind. It starts with your mindset. You know what I'm saying? Your mindset is going to determine your skill set and the opportunities that you can take. See, opportunities, families, never become available. They never become apparent. And they never become clear to individuals that lack the skill set and the mindset. Because if you lack the skill set, then you cannot do the work that is required to accomplish that opportunity. And if you lack the mindset, you will not recognize the said opportunity. All right? And this is why patience is key. Patience is key, because in order for you to change what has been a culmination, you know what I'm saying, of time, of not just 10, 15, like 20, 30 years, maybe 40 years for some of you, is going to take time to unwind. And this is why, you know, personal change is so important. You know, personal physically, personal mentally, intellectually, personal spiritually, you know what I'm saying, soulfully, vision, purpose, imagination, you know, and personally, financially, and emotionally is going to take a lot of time, and a lot like an insurmountable amount of transcendental, spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, and creative, imaginative energy. It's going to require a boatload. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is undescribable, right? Because it is specific to you, to what you have been brought into life to do. You get what I'm saying? And the reason it's going to take so much is because the odds are against you. The odds are not in your favor. You get what I'm saying? You have the world is governed by, you know, anywhere between 500 to 1,000 plus families, and those individuals don't want you to know what you should know. That's why the Tellite vision distracts us and tells lies to our vision and puts negative programmings that are not in alignment with what we want out of life and our lives. Therefore, you're going to have to be creative with the work. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to be super creative with the work. You might have to sleep more than others. You might have to remain awake more than others. You might have to do a lot more physical exercise and less working for others. You might have to do a lot of writing, a lot of reading, a lot of working for others. You know what I'm saying? A lot of humbling is going to be different for everyone. You might have to travel a lot. You might have to go walk around the world. You might have to get into a lot of debt. You might have to shake a lot of hands, knock on many doors, cook a lot of meals. It is going to be different for everyone. You might have to commit to 5, 10, 15, or even 20 years of not being with a woman. But the change that you want, the lifestyle specific to you is going to be different. The change, the internal changes, the external changes that you're going to have to look for and apply in your life is going to be different than everybody else's. So you can't go off of what other people tell you. You can't go off of how other people are going to perceive you and judge you. You cannot go off of other people, because the vision, what is required within, is for you. It is for you to do, not for anybody else. Nobody's going to believe in your dream until you believe it. And a lot of people, nobody is ever going to see your dream until you make it a reality. You get what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody see Apple but, Steve Jobs and the other individual, the other Steve. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of people that are going to be giving a similar vision as yours, but ain't nobody going to apply it how you can apply it, with the mindfulness, with the passion, with the drive, with the focus, with the intention, with the patience, with the determination that you can give your specific vision. You get what I'm saying? Like, not everybody was born to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody was born to be a writer. Not everybody was born to just, live up in the mountains. Some people, they'll be fine just working for somebody else. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's why we have CEO, and we got great CEOs that have become millionaires and billionaires just being the CEOs of somebody else's organization, man. You don't always got to be the chief operating officer. Sometimes you could be the chief executive officer, or maybe you can even be the chief creative officer. You know what I'm saying? The CCO, the one that comes up with the ideas in the organization. You don't always have to be the boss, man. Sometimes, man, you weren't even born to be a leader. You were just born to lead. You know what I'm saying? To lead people onto the right path, but never to just be their leader. Always be the one calling the shots, man. Nah, sometimes, it's best to just be on the sideline, counseling or encouraging the individual, calling the shots. As a man, you were designed to call the shots in your own life. Now, if that means working for somebody else and doing your own thing on the side, so be it. If that means, traveling the world or creating your own business, so be it. You just got to be creative, man. You just got to be creative, and you got to start with yourself. As an individual, you got to start with yourself. You can't change the world unless you change yourself. You got to have some gratitude in order to cultivate the proper attitude with the proper mindset that will allow you to patiently cultivate the necessary skill sets that will eventually get you out of the slum that you believe, think, and probably feel that you are in, and onto the path that will create the life and lifestyle that you truly want. But this can only be done by design. It will not happen by default by simply wishing and visualizing it without actually putting the steps, taking the necessary steps, and putting the necessary prerequisite actions into order that will facilitate this arcanum, this great work, to come into fruition. It all starts with self. You got to change yourself. Whatever is wrong, whatever qualities may in the future sabotage your work, they need to be nicked in the butt right now. Whether it is too much slothfulness, or moving too fast without any patience, or the ability to just sit still. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be wastefulness or too much fear, greed, or you're just too unwisely charitable, envy, or you just believe so much in perfection that you can't accomplish something, deception, or you just don't know how to just keep your mouth shut when it is necessary. You're always just telling everybody everything. You get what I'm saying? Or you're lacking in vision, or you're just always so wrathful because you don't know what to do next, or you're just too overly humble or too overly prideful to accept any correction, or too humble to think for yourself, then it's going to affect you in the long run. So you might as well start figuring out now what are the things that you need to work on, what are the things that need to change, what kind of mindset you need to embody, what kind of skills you're going to need to learn in order for you to be ready when opportunities present themselves. You get what I'm saying? Money is not everything, but it will answer a lot of discomforts that you might be feeling in your life. But you also have to work on your attitude, on your mindset, on your spiritual, so that when the money does come, when the success, when the ease that you desire does come, you don't just misuse it. You know what I'm saying? You can actually use it to the best of your advantage, and you can also help yourself and others do the same. So stop trying to change the world, change yourself, fix your attitude, develop some patience, develop some mindfulness for yourself and for others, and in due time you shall have your work. Now check it, family. I don't know it all. I don't pretend to know it all. You know, the things that I talk about are things that I learned through example. I never was one to run my mouth. You get what I'm saying? I would, like, when I first opened an Instagram, all I would post was videos of me working out, because I'm one that believes in leading by example. So if I want to encourage other people to be fit, that's all I'm gonna share is just fitness, right? I didn't start opening my mouth until I realized that I had, a gift for speaking in ways that, other people understood, and it kind of motivated and prompted them to action. Not just my actions could motivate, but also my words. So that's when I started speaking, right? And a lot of the things that I encourage other people to do, and the things that I reveal to other people, are things that I've discovered over my life, over the last 3-5 years since embarking on this self-work journey, that have worked for me, because what I have learned I have sought to apply, and that also worked for just as well everybody else. Everybody has a body, everybody has a mind, everybody has an energetic force that we call the soul, the spirit, that when it leaves our body, we're dead. Everybody has emotions. You get what I'm saying? It's not fake. And everybody has a desire, or the desires, the visions, the dreams, the imaginings of living a life that at the end of their life, they can feel, think, and know that it actually served a purpose, because they feel at the end of their days that their life has had meaning. And so they don't have regrets about the things that they did not do. We all have this. We all have these things that make us all uniquely the same. Just go work on yourself, fam. Go read a book and have patience. Have patience. Have a lot of patience. That tree ain't gonna grow in one day. You ain't gonna have the fruit. You ain't gonna have the shade when you want it. You're gonna have it when it is ready. So when you're ready, your career, your work will start generating the financial demands that you have as necessary for the visions that you have within you in life. Just make sure to be writing them down, reading, and doing the daily work. Making your bed, brushing your teeth, washing your ass, working out, reading the books, meditating, going to the places, meeting the people, doing the things, and visualizing the life that you want for yourself. All right?